Welcome to Vital Life Stories, where we explore the deepest valleys of human experience to find the peaks of eternal wisdom. Our story begins with Thomas, a dedicated carpenter who worked alongside his beloved father, crafting beauty from simple blocks of wood. Life was simple and filled with joy, as the father taught his son not just about wood, but about integrity. But time is a river that waits for no one, and suddenly Thomas found himself standing alone before his father's grave. The grief had barely settled when his two older brothers revealed their true nature, demanding control over the entire family estate. Driven by greed, they claimed the workshop and house, leaving Thomas with absolutely nothing but the clothes upon his weary back. He turned to his friends for support, but seeing his poverty, they turned their backs, proving that fair-weather friends represent nothing. With a heavy heart and empty pockets, Thomas walked towards the edge of the forest, where the only inheritance left awaited. His brothers had left him a broken shack, a place where the wind howled through the cracks and the roof leaked. Stepping inside, the air was thick with dust and neglect, mirroring the emptiness and devastation that Thomas felt in his soul. That first night was the coldest he had ever known, not because of the weather, but because of the biting loneliness. Memories of warmth and laughter haunted him, making the silence of the forest seem even more deafening and unbearable to endure. Days turned into weeks, and Thomas realized he was truly invisible to the world that had once welcomed him so warmly. Every simple task became a struggle, and hunger became a constant companion that gnawed at his stomach and his will. He reached the breaking point, collapsing on the dirt floor, wondering why fate had been so cruel to take everything away. But in that deepest silence, when all human voices had faded, Thomas heard a whisper that spoke directly to his heart. He realized he was never truly alone. He began to pray, not for money or revenge, but for strength to endure. He asked God for the courage to stand up, to rebuild his life with his own hands, and to find purpose. A new energy filled his spirit. He understood that solitude was a classroom where he would learn who he really was. He began to clean his surroundings. Order brought clarity to his mind, and hard work became his daily form of worship. Without money for tools, he improvised. He used sharp stones and strong branches, learning to work in harmony with nature. Slowly, the shack transformed. It was no longer a ruin, but a home built with sweat, tears, and newfound resilience. In the evenings, he practiced his craft. With simple tools, he carved wood with a precision that came from deep focus. He made spoons, bowls, and figures. Each piece was a testament to his patience and the peace he had found within. The forest became his companion. He learned to listen to the silence, finding a richness in life that money could not buy. One afternoon, fate intervened. A wealthy merchant's carriage shattered a wheel on the rough path just outside Thomas's humble dwelling. The merchant was stranded and anxious, fearing he would be stuck in the woods as the sun began to set. Thomas approached them calmly. He saw the problem and knew exactly what to do, offering his assistance without hesitation or pride. The merchant looked at the young man's tattered clothes with doubt, but he had no other option than to trust him. Thomas went to work. His hands moved with the grace of a master, shaping wood to fix the broken wheel perfectly. Within the hour, the carriage was ready. The merchant was astounded by the quality of work done with such primitive tools. He offered Thomas a heavy bag of gold. Thomas, with dignity, took only what was fair for his labor, refusing charity. Impressed by his skill and integrity, the merchant promised to tell everyone in the city about the master carpenter in the woods. Thomas used the money wisely. He bought proper steel chisels, saws, and hammers, equipping himself to do even better work. With better tools, his talent soared. He created furniture that was not just functional, but true works of art and soul. Word spread like wildfire. People traveled from far and wide, bypassing the town shops to find the carpenter in the forest. The dilapidated shack was transformed into a bustling workshop. Yet, Thomas remained humble, remembering the cold nights that forged his character. He hired apprentices, teaching them not just how to cut wood, but how to work with honesty, patience, and love. Meanwhile, his brothers had squandered their inheritance. Their greed led to bad decisions, and soon they lost the family estate. Destitute and ashamed, they heard of the famous carpenter. Desperation forced them to seek work, unaware of who the master was. They arrived at the workshop, heads bowed low, begging for any menial task just to earn a meal for the day. When Thomas stepped out, silence filled the air. The brothers trembled in fear, recognizing the man they had betrayed years ago. They fell to their knees, expecting anger or retribution. They wept, apologizing for their cruelty and the suffering they caused him. Thomas looked at them, not with hatred, but with pity. He gently lifted them up, breaking the cycle of bitterness. He told them that he held no grudges. He understood now that their betrayal was the catalyst for his own growth. "If you had not sent me away," Thomas said, "I would never have found my own strength or my true faith." He shared his food with them. He offered them a chance to work, not as masters, but as learners starting anew. Thomas realized that God had stripped him of everything, so he could be filled with something far greater than material wealth. He thanked God for the solitude. It was in the emptiness that he found the fullness of his spirit and purpose. His workshop became a place of second chances. It stood as a testament that no winter lasts forever, and spring always comes. Years passed, and Thomas became a legend, not for his riches, but for his wisdom and his boundless capacity to forgive. He taught the village that when you have nothing left but God, you discover that God is enough for everything. He often returned to the forest path, remembering the boy who once walked there in despair, now walking back in gratitude. Loneliness is not a curse. It is a sacred space where we are forged, strengthened, and prepared for a greater destiny. Like a seed that must be buried in the dark soil to grow, we too must sometimes face darkness to rise. So if you feel alone today, do not despair. You are simply being prepared for a future you cannot yet imagine. Embrace the journey, trust the process, and keep your faith. Your greatest story is currently being written by the Master's hand. May the story of Thomas remind you that even in the deepest loss, there is always a seed of new hope. Thank you for watching Vital Life Stories. If this story touched your heart, please share it to inspire someone else today. Remember to subscribe to Vital Life Stories for more tales of resilience and faith. Until next time, stay strong and blessed.